Okay, this is the 3-5 worksheet. 1, 2, and 3 interest formulas. Which one we want to do? 1, 2, or 3? 1. Okay, if we do number 1, it's asking for the rate and it's asking for the time double. What's the easiest thing to be able to do first? The time to double. The time to double is the absolute easiest thing to do. And the reason why I say that is because I don't need anything but this lovely little formula. PERT, remember 2 is equal to ERT? So that means the natural log of 2 is equal to ERT. What am I solving for? I'm solving for the time it takes to double, right? Now, obviously, we run into an issue here, don't we? We don't have our rate. So, yes, I have the information that I can be able to do that, but until I find my rate, I cannot finish this problem, right? So I come over here and I'm like, okay, well, how do I find my rate? How do I find my rate? I have to use the 2 pieces of information that they give me. The 2 pieces of information that they give me are going to be A is equal to PERT. A is going to be this amount right here. It's the amount that I have in my account after how long? After 10 years. So I'm going to have the 12,9,285 is equal to my initial amount, which was 500. E to the rate I don't know, and it's going to take 10 years for it to be that in that account. Yes? So with that said, all we're going to do then is divide by 500. So I have 1292.85 divided by 500. I don't know. So with that said, this is going to give me e to the 10r. Now what do I do there? Take the natural log of that. So the natural log of that 1292.85 divided by 500 is equal to 10r. So divide all that by 10, and that's going to give you what r is. Agree? So when you plug that in, what does that give you? When you plug that in, what does that give you? No, it does not. It gives you that your rate is going to be 0.095. So what is your rate? 9.5% is my rate. Okay? So now that I know what my percentage is, can I find the time it takes to double? Yes, that's the natural log of 2 divided by 0.095. And how long is it going to take for me to double my money now? $7.3 years is how long it's going to take to double my money. That's number 1. Do we understand that? The biggest issue is actually typing in the calculator what you're supposed to. I know Daniel struggles with this big time. He becomes thumbs. I don't know why. What? 7.3 years is the time to double. Okay? Do we understand number 1? So from there, if you look at number 2, what do you have to find first for number 2? What do they give you? The rate. So can I find my time to double immediately since I have my rate? Yes. So then after that, I have to find my initial investment, which I'm going to plug in using the rate, this, and then my time, which is going to be 10. And that's going to give me my initial. Okay? Look at number 3. What did they not give you? Time to double. Do I have my rate? Can I find that quickly and easily? Yes. Now how do I find the amount after 10 years? Plug and chug. You have your rate, you have your initial, you have the time that's going to be in the you're done. You have to know PERT. PERT will not be on the test. Okay? Okay. Now the isotope problems. Do we know how to do the isotope problems? Isotope problems are exactly the same concept as PERT. Exactly the same concept. So how do I do this? I don't need any of this. This entire column is irrelevant to us, right? What I need to know is the amount after 10,000 years. Well, they give me this, and they give me this. What is missing? What else is missing? The rate. On every one of these problems, the rate is missing. You have got to find the rate first. If you do not find the rate, then you can't do the problems. So you have to find the rate first. So in order to find the rate first, what you're going to do is you're going to be using this formula. Q of t is equal to cert. Okay? Well, this is the half-life. How long did it take for it to have half-life? 5,730 years. So if I come to here, I'm going to have 1/2 is equal to ERT, right? And I'm going to have the natural log of 1/2 is equal to RT. Well, I need to find my rate. How long did it take for my half-life? What was the time? So the natural log of 1/2 is equal to 5,730 R. So now how do I find R? Natural log of 1/2 divided by 5,730, and that's going to be equal to my R value. Do we understand that? That's my rate. So if that's my rate, all I have to do is simply what? Plug and chug. Okay? So after you find your rate, then how do I find the other thing? Plug and chug, right? Q of t is equal to cert. I know my initial's 3. I know it's going to be in there for how long? It's going to be in there for 1,000 years. I'm going to have this rate, which is going to go right there, and I'm going to times that by 1,000, and that's going to give you the amount that you're going to have left after 1,000 years. Okay? Do we all understand that? Yes or no? The isotope problems are not that bad. Problem 7 is where things get a little hairy for y'all. Problem number 7, it says, a computer that costs $2,000 new has a book value of $500 after 2 years. And what it's asking for is it's asking for a linear model and for a exponential model, isn't it? So the linear model, in order to find a linear model, what does that mean you have to do? Y equals mx plus b. You have to have what in order to find the equation of a line? The slope. In order to find a slope, you have to have what? In order to find a slope, you have to have what? How many points? 2 points. Well, what are my 2 points I'm going to have? Y0, 2,000. I'm going to have my year and my worth as my ordered pair. So at year 0, it was $2,000. And then after 2 years, it was now worth $500. Do we understand that? Yes or no? So I need to find my slope. So my slope is going to be 2,000 minus 500 all over 0 minus 2. So that's 1,500 divided by negative 2 to give you negative 750. What's the negative 750 represent? Hello? The first question it asks is interpret the slope. Slope is the change in y over the change in x. Slope is the change in y over the change in x. That's the change of the worth over the change of the year. So that's negative 750 over 1. So that means every year it decreases in worth by $750. Does that make sense? That's exactly what that slope means. Every year it decreases in worth $750. Yes? Okay, well that's all wonderful. Now what's my equation? Because I still have to find my linear equation. My linear equation is going to be a function y is equal to mx plus b. Y stays, m is negative 750x. What's b? Why is b 2,000? That's your y-intercept. So there's my linear model. So if that's my linear model, the next thing it says to do is to then go ahead and to give the model for being the exponential. And they give the formula v is equal to a e to the kt. What is that? Think cert. Think pert. What is that? What's v represent? What does v represent? The worth. V is the worth of the computer. What is A? The initial cost of it. What's K? The rate at which it's what? Declining. What's T? The time. Do you understand all of those nice little letters in there now? Okay? So if we apply that in there, how much was it worth? 500. How much did I buy it for? 2,000. K, I don't know. And how long did I have for it to be $500? 2 years. What do I need to find, folks? I have to find the rate at which this is declining, just like I had to find the rate in which my money was doubling or tripling, all that, right? Just like I had to find the rate at which my isotope was decreasing and decaying, right? Same exact concept here. So I still need to find the rate. So I'm going to take the same. I'm going to have 500 divided by 2,000, and that's going to be equal to e to the 2k. Do we see that? So this is going to reduce down to be what? 1/4 is equal to e to the 2k. So how do I solve this for my k? Take the natural log and then do what? So I'm going to have the natural log of 1/4 all divided by 2 is equal to my k, which is my rate. And when you plug that in, what do you get? Negative 0.6921 is equal to my k value, which is my rate. I think that's what it is, isn't it? Anybody? Everyone? Man, I was close. My memory failed me a little bit. Okay, do we all see our rate? So now what's my equation? So my equation is going to be V is equal to $2,000 e to the negative 0.936931 times t. That's my equation. Do we all see that? Now I want you to compare the two equations. So what would you do to compare these two? Graph them and see which one's falling. After year 1, what's it worth? After year 2, what's it worth? After year 3, what is it worth? Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Okay? That problem was not nearly as hard as what you guys thought it was. It's a matter of taking the information that was given to you and apply it into the formula that you were given. Does that make sense? Number 8, the sales S in thousands of units. The sale S in thousands of units of a cleaning solution have X $100 spent on advertising are given by S is equal to 10 times 1 minus e to the kx. Now, you tell me, when $500 is spent on advertising, there's 250 units, 2,500 units are sold. So you tell me, number of units sold, what's that number going to represent? Because it says it's in thousands. This right here, units sold, what's that going to be? 2.5. 2.5 is what we have to use in our formula. Do we understand that? Because the number is in thousands already. Everybody with me? So that is going to represent S, and that's going to equal to 10 times 1 minus e to the kx. Well, what is going to be x here? What is x in here? X is $100. After X $100 is spent, X $100. So how much money did I spend? What? Why 5 versus 500? You have to read here. It says that I spent X $100. So my dollar amount is already in hundreds. Does that make sense? So what does X represent here? That's going to be 5. And then that's going to be 5K. What do you think I need to find first of all, folks? What's K? K represents the rate, right? Do we all understand that? So how do I solve this? So I divide by 10. 2.5 divided by 10 is equal to 1 minus e to the 5k. When you divide by the 10, what do you get? 0.25 is equal to, I'm going to put the 0 there so y'all can see that. Because S is in thousands of units. And X is in hundreds of units. You with me? $100. Subtract the 1. So I owe somebody $1 and I have a quarter, so what's left? Divide by a negative, so 0.75 is equal to e to the 5k. Then what? The natural log. We good? Are we good? So I have the natural log of 0.75 is equal to 5k. So the natural log of 0.75 divided by 5 is equal to my k. So what is that? Did you say 7.6? 5? Yes. It should be a 5. Do we understand that problem? Not as bad as what you thought it was. It's just a matter of reading and making sure that you understand the values that you have to plug in. Because one's in 1,000, one's in 100. Hundreds. Do we understand that one? Okay, that brings us to the next one. You guys can do part B on that. Part A was solve for K. Part B was estimate the number of units that will be sold if advertising expenditures are raised to $700. So if they spend $700 on it, on advertising, how many units are they going to sell? That's what it's asking, right? Okay. IQ. Number 10 is going to be intensities. Did you all do okay with those ones? How about 11? Did we do okay with our magnitudes? Those ones are yeah, magnitudes. That is basically it. Which one? Did you do any of them yet? Tennessee, Northern California was a rate of 5.2 on the Richter scale. So 5.2 is equal to the log of I, right? So that's going to be 10 to the 5.2 is equal to I. So if you plug that into your calculator, you're going to get 158,489. Yeah, which tells me you didn't try. Whoa, uh-huh. 11. A. The intensity is equal to 398,11000. So you're going to use this formula. R is equal to log base 10 of 39,800. Okay. So how do you do that? You type it in the calculator just like that. And what are you going to get on the Richter scale? 7.6. For 39,811,000, sorry. Yes? Do we understand these ones? Okay. The test is tomorrow. You need to be able to know this. And I talked about this in your notes. I talked about reading in your textbook on pages, what was it, 220 to 217 to 223 I told you to read. And to make sure you read those examples and you knew how to do those examples, okay? I said that you need to make sure that you know precisely what they're doing and why they're doing the things that they did. I went over 3.5 worksheet in class with you just now. The other day, I went over section 3.4 with you. Did a lot of those problems in class with you again. Things that I would make sure that you know how to do on section 3.4 is the factoring problems. Make sure you don't forget how to factor on problems like 4. So e to the 2x minus 4 e to the x minus 5 is equal to 0. So how do I do something like that? Put it into two binomials. So you're going to have e to the x minus 5 and e to the x plus 1 is equal to 0. Factoring that into two binomials. Okay? So you're going to get e to the x minus 5 is equal to 0, and e to the x plus 1 is equal to 0. E to the x equals 5. Natural log of 5 is equal to x. E to the x equals negative 1. The natural log of negative 1 is equal to x. Can I do that? No, I cannot do this. So that's tossed out immediately, and that's going to be your answer. Okay? If you're given one where it is expanded, what should you do first? Condense it, get it into one natural log or log, and then take care of it on that. Okay? I went over a lot of section 3-4 with you, did I not? And I gave you guys 2 days in class, and I gave you all the answers. You guys had all that, told you to take a picture of it and everything. Okay? So you guys already have the answers to that worksheet. I've already gone over section 3-5 with you. I am going to show you guys quickly the test. The test is tomorrow and Friday. Any and all homework that you owe me must be put in the bin for me by tomorrow. If it is not, you're going to get zeros, okay? Math Excel, do not forget about that. When is Math Excel due? Friday, okay? What would you like to hand in to me by Friday? For what we're testing over? I'll accept for what we're testing over by Friday. Okay? 3-4, 3-5. Okay. As long as it's not anything old, I'll accept what we're testing over by Friday. But I want my break too. Agree? So you guys need to get your work in. End of discussion on that. We clear? Okay, test tomorrow.